my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. Well, and then he says, to write the same thing to you is no trouble to me and is safe for you. He says, maybe I'm being a little repetitive here, but that's okay. It doesn't take me, it's no big deal. I just have to write it, because later on in chapter 4, he kind of starts beating it to death a little bit. Finally, my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. It's no trouble to me, it's safe for you. You guys need to hear this. Finally, my brothers, rejoice in the Lord. The last thing I want to say to you, except he goes on for another couple of chapters. Well, that's Paul. But the last thing I want to say to you is rejoice in the Lord. Why? Why would he want to leave them with that thought in their minds? Rejoice in the Lord. Well, it's because it's good. It's good for you. I started thinking about this as Christian mental hygiene. We sort of start brainwashing. I always like to use the phrase brainwashing. Wash out all the old crud and garbage. All of the negative thoughts, all the negativity, all of the dwelling on the negative, all of the preoccupation with flaws and faults and who's to blame well, so-and-so is just so lacking in so many ways, and I'm so lacking in so many. Even that. Walking around saying, what a stupid person I am. What a stupid person I am. God doesn't want you to do that. And Satan does. He likes that. He'll keep at it. He'll say, you are worthless. You are no good. You're a terrible person. And every time you kind of stub your toe and make and you fall, he'll just grist through the middle. Yeah, you're so terrible. You'll never be pure. You'll never be holy. But you already are, because Christ made you holy. And so don't let Satan do that. Don't let Satan fill your mind with all the negativity. And I say again, I say this for myself. Because that's the trap. That's the trap. That's why we don't rejoice. We're so busy dwelling on all the negativity, on everything that's going wrong with us and everything that's going wrong in us, and everything that's being done to us. We're dwelling on all that, but it's almost like we're enchanted, and God breaks the spell with a single magic word. Rejoice. Rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. See? Paul's having so much fun here, right? Rejoice, rejoice. This is all about joy, because that's really where it's at. Love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, all these things. These are the gifts that God works out in our lives. And joy is one of the most important. Don't you like being around people that are cheerful and joyful and positive? And don't you like being around those kind of people? Then do yourself and your neighbors and your spouses and your children a favor and be one of them. Be one of those joyful people. All right, again, no guilt trip here. I always love it when someone comes along to this verse and says, this is the commandment of God. Rejoice. And every time you get it in the form of a commandment, you feel bad about feeling bad, because you realize, I feel bad, so I'm violating God's commandment, and I feel bad for violating God's commandment. So that's really the wrong way to look at it. It doesn't do you any good to see it as a commandment. Right? The law kills. Okay? It's like coming up to James and saying, James, you're getting an F on your test, and not only that, you feel bad about it. You did two things wrong. It's so silly. And so don't think of it commandment of God. Think of it as opportunity. God said, rejoice in the Lord always through Paul. Well, God doesn't put stuff in there that's just spiritual hot air. It is possible to rejoice in the Lord always. Do you believe it? I don't. But seriously, the longer I go on as a Christian, the more I think, oh, maybe I believe it, you know? Maybe I can live it out. I mean, I'm not there. Obviously, I'm not there. Paul says he's not there, you know? I'm not there yet, but it's kind of like in sight. You know, the light at the end of the tunnel type of thing, you know? I get what God's getting at least, you know? And that's the deal. God is offering this. He's saying, look, you may not get there tomorrow. Again, spiritual formation. It may take a long time because of all the baggage and negativity we accumulate over the years for one reason or another. It may take a long time where joy becomes the genuine principle of your life in a recognizable way. But God says it's possible. You can have a kind of joy that underlies everything, a foundation for your whole life. Okay? And it doesn't matter what kind of personality. Some of us, like, maybe, you know, there are some of us who are more reserved. To me, telling me to do this, forget it, you know? But that doesn't mean I'm not joyful. My heart can be doing, you know, flip-flops, you know, and butterflies and chills and all that, but don't tell me to do that. But I'm joyful, you know, I'm rejoicing, I'm excited, I'm happy, you know. And some of you may be like that. Others of you, it might come out more, you know, more visibly. But just because you're not, you know, jumping up and down and, you know, whatever, doesn't mean you're not rejoicing, you know. So don't think, oh, I've got a kind of an even keel personality. I don't really have those super high moments. It's okay. Joy is not a super high moment. It's kind of a sense of rightness that is flooding your life. A sense of well-being, a sense of shalom, peace. I'm on the right track. I'm headed in the right way. God is lighting my path. You see, that's what joy is all about. Here we go again, Paul. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Now, I always kind of joke around. Want to know the will of God? I'll tell you. 1 Thessalonians 5:16. That's the will of God for your life. You know, of course, people are saying, well, who should I marry? What college should I go to? What job should I take? And all that. That's not important. 1 Thessalonians 5:16. That's the will of God for your life. And then the other stuff can sort itself out. You know, rejoice always. There it is again, right? That horrid command, that wonderful opportunity. The burden of rejoicing always, forget it. Throw it away. The opportunity of rejoicing always, see it out there. See it as God's plan for your life. One day, you will rejoice always. And believe it. Believe that it's possible. Pray without ceasing. That means to walk with God. That means take God as your companion. Wherever you go, you have somebody to talk to. You know, hey God, you know, God, help me find a parking place. I mean, you know, we've joked about that in the past, you know. God with you in the smallest details and the biggest problems. God as the one that you walk with constantly. Because you're aware of His presence, you're attentive to His presence, you're listening for His word through His Spirit. And then, of course, you know, you will take focused time to pray to Him because sometimes you just want to spend time with somebody, by yourself, with that one person. Well, that same thing with God. Give thanks in all circumstances. This is part of what makes rejoicing possible, isn't it? I mean, you know, you're going along and everything, you're thinking, gosh, this is all bad. Man, look at all this bad stuff that's happening. You know, I lost my job. My lost my job, lost my girlfriend, lost my car. You know, and the joke is, you know, it sounds like you've been listening to country music, right? You know, if you play a country music record backward, do you get your job back, your girlfriend back, and your dog back, whatever, you know. That's, all right, well, give thanks in all circumstances. Well, that's not easy, right? It's another one of these horrid commands. It's almost like saying, you know, life is going to treat you terrible, but you better like it. You better be thankful for all the terrible things that are happening in life. Is that what you think God is doing to you? I think what he's trying to say is, be aware of the fact that he is there in all circumstances. That's why you pray without ceasing. You're aware of him. Be aware that he is involved. The famous line from Pulp Fiction. God got involved, and that changed everything. For those who... But anyway, God got involved, and that is something to be thankful for. So how do you know it wouldn't have been a lot worse? How do you know there would not have been no way out if God had not been there, you know? God, thank you that there's a way out. Thank you that this has not ended in total catastrophe. Just partial catastrophe, you know? I'm talking about the worst case situation, you know? In other words, what you're trying to do is see God in the situation somehow. The fact that you can turn to him in prayer is something to be thankful about. The fact that you can ask for his help. You're not left alone. I am with you to the end of the age. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Thank you. Because this is pretty bad right now, but I'm glad you're here with me, God. I'm glad that it hurts you as much as it does me. And that's the truth, because God feels our pain in a very real sense. The meaning of the cross is God feeling our pain, feeling our death, our anguish, feeling that which tries to destroy us. God suffers with us. And so again, I'm talking worst case. Best case, you know, the other thing is